Can you believe it? Over 8 billion cans of Spam have been sold worldwide since this product was first created. That means every single second, 3 cans of Spam are consumed. Crazy, right? It's just a small, square-shaped can of meat. Yet it's managed to drive the whole world wild. But why? What's actually inside a can of Spam? Why is it called mystery meat? And how has a product that was born nearly 90 years ago managed not only to survive, but also become a cultural icon in so many places? From Hawaii to South Korea, today I'm going to crack open that little can and reveal all its secrets, some wild fun facts, and the reasons why Spam has stayed immortal through the decades. Ready? Let's go! First, let's talk a bit about the name Spam. Did you know that Spam is actually one of the biggest mysteries in the food world? It sounds simple enough, but to this day, no one's really sure what it truly means. Some people believe Spam stands for spiced ham. Others say it means shoulder of pork and ham. And there's even a theory that it's short for spare meat. But guess what? Hormel, the company that makes Spam, has never officially confirmed any of those meanings. They've kept that secret locked up tight for nearly 90 years. Maybe it's this very mystery that's made the name Spam even more famous and talked about everywhere. Especially back in 1937, when Hormel held a naming contest with a prize of just $100. The winner came up with the name Spam, and the rest is history. From a tiny naming contest, Spam became a global food icon. Now let's rewind time a bit. The story of Spam began in the late 1920s, when a young man named J. Hormel took over Hormel Foods from his father. One day, J. Hormel saw these big, square blocks of canned meat being sold at a deli, and he thought, why not turn them into smaller, more convenient cans that people could buy, slice up and cook however they wanted? That idea slowly became an obsession for J. Hormel. It took him years of experimenting to perfect the recipe, and finally, in 1937, Spam officially hit the American market. But what really made Spam explode in popularity was World War II. At the time, the US military needed a cheap, shelf-stable source of protein that didn't require refrigeration. Spam became an unlikely hero. Over 150 million pounds of Spam were sent out to the battlefields. Soldiers even used the fat from Spam to lubricate their guns or waterproof their boots. Thanks to American troops, Spam quietly spread across the globe, making its way to places like Hawaii, Guam, and South Korea. From a humble American pantry staple, Spam transformed into an international food icon. Pretty crazy, right? So what the heck is actually inside a can of Spam that's got the whole world going crazy? Believe it or not, Spam has only 6 ingredients. They are pork, including ham, salt, water, potato starch, sugar, and sodium nitrite. Sounds pretty simple, right? But here's the thing. Sodium nitrite is the unsung hero of this whole story. It prevents a super dangerous bacteria called Clostridium botulinum, the one that causes botulism, which can be deadly. At the same time, it reacts with the myoglobin in the meat, giving Spam that iconic pink color you see when you crack open a can. Without sodium nitrite, Spam would turn into a grayish lump that looks, well, pretty unappetizing. So if anyone ever calls Spam mystery meat, they're kinda right. Because hardly anyone realizes that inside that little can lies some pretty advanced food technology. The journey of a can of Spam starts on modern pig farms, where pigs are raised in clean environments and carefully monitored to ensure food safety and hygiene. Before they're sent for processing, every pig has to go through strict health inspections to make sure the meat meets the highest quality standards. Once approved, the pork is transported to the Spam production facility. Now, let's sneak into the Hormel Foods factory and see how Spam is actually made. The whole process is like a kind of industrial magic show. First, the pork is carefully processed. The bones and excess fat are removed, leaving only the best, leanest, most nutritious cuts of meat. Then it's time for the meat to be ground up. Huge, high-powered machines grind the meat into small pieces, ensuring an even texture. The ground meat is divided into massive batches. Each one can weigh up to 3.6 metric tons, about 8,000 pounds. Next, the ground pork is transferred into giant industrial mixers, where it's combined with the other ingredients in precisely measured amounts. Ice chips are added to the meat mixture to chill it close to freezing. Why so cold? Because the heat generated by the grinding process can change the proteins in the meat, ruining its smooth texture. Keeping it cold preserves that fresh flavor and consistency. After that, salt, sugar, water, potato starch, and sodium nitrite are added using a secret formula that only Hormel knows. Powerful mixers blend everything together into a perfectly uniform mixture. Once mixing is done, the Spam mixture is pumped directly into cans, vacuum-sealed, and tightly closed. Believe it or not, it only takes about 13 workers to operate the entire gigantic Spam production line. It's the ultimate example of duck egg technology, something that seems super complicated but is actually incredibly automated. Now comes the coolest part. Spam is actually cooked right inside its own can. Sounds pretty wild, right? Here's how it works. Hormel uses massive cooking machines that can handle up to 66,000 cans of Spam at once. This system is called hydraulic cooking. The temperature, pressure, and cooking time are all calculated with extreme precision to kill any bacteria. Ensure the Spam cooks evenly from the inside out, and keep it moist and tender instead of drying out. The cooking process also helps give the block of meat inside its firm, solid texture. Once the cooking's done, the cans are rapidly cooled to prevent bacterial growth, thoroughly washed on the outside for hygiene, and then labeled, packed, and prepped for shipping. If stored properly, Spam can technically last indefinitely, but Hormel recommends eating it within 5 years for the best flavor. It's kind of mind-blowing and maybe a little eerie to think about the food science behind it all, isn't it? If you think Spam is only famous in America, think again. These days, Spam has become a global superstar, not just because of its taste, but because of how deeply it's woven into the cultures of so many places. In Hawaii, Spam is practically a religion. Hawaiians consume over 7 million cans of Spam every year. They even have a beloved local dish called Spam musubi, a block of rice wrapped in seaweed with a slice of golden fried Spam on top. Delicious, portable, and perfect for eating anywhere. In South Korea, Spam isn't just food, it's a piece of history. Spam first arrived in Korea with American soldiers during the Korean War, at a time when the country was struggling with poverty and food shortages. Over time, Spam went from being a survival food to becoming a luxury gift. Today, in Korea, Spam is sold in elegant gift boxes and is often given as a present during Lunar New Year or other major holidays. And that's not all. Koreans have come up with countless Spam-based dishes like kimchi jjigae with Spam, kimchi stew with Spam, Spam kimbap, seaweed rice rolls with Spam filling, and Spam pancakes. In Korea, Spam has truly gone from humble to high-end, from everyday staple to luxury item. Sure, Spam is delicious, but there's a dark side that can't be denied. Spam is known for being high in salt and fat. To be specific, a single serving of Spam, about 2 ounces or 56 grams, contains 16 grams of fat and makes up around 33% of your recommended daily sodium intake. Many people worry that eating too much processed meat, especially products that contain sodium nitrite, might be linked to a higher risk of cancer. However, the FDA, US Food and Drug Administration, has stated that Spam is safe to eat as long as it's consumed in moderation. Hormel, the company behind Spam, has even jumped on the health trend by releasing low-sodium and low-fat versions of Spam. Still, experts agree on one thing. It's fine to enjoy Spam occasionally for fun, but don't make it a staple that replaces fresh veggies or whole foods in your everyday diet. And that's the story. From one crazy idea by J. Hormel, Spam has become a global food icon, controversial yet loved by millions, and it's still selling like crazy nearly 90 years later. Whether it's for breakfast, emergency stockpiles, or even as a gift, Spam continues to prove its lasting appeal in the world's food culture. So, have you ever tried Spam? What's your favorite way to eat it? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on more awesome food explorations.